In a world of globalization, economic uncertainty, terrorism, culture clash, family disintegration, corporate distrust, youth disillusionment, political confusion, and religious corruption, the wisdom to navigate successfully through life is necessary. Welcome to Living Effectively. Living Effectively, a program designed to provide wisdom, insight, information, and inspiration to effectively face the challenges of the 21st century world. Living Effectively.
In The Purpose and Power of Love and Marriage, Dr. Munroe's previously separate books in the Understanding Love series are combined in a time-tested recipe for success in marriage. Dr. Munroe sets the table for a 3-course gourmet meal experience that his readers shall not soon forget. He starts by whetting our appetites with Marriage, Still a Good Idea, then insightfully serves up his main course, Secrets of the Heart. He tops that all off with a perfectly rich dessert entitled For a Lifetime. Dr. Munroe boldly addresses the often controversial issues of submission and appropriate sexual behavior in marriage. He gives constructive, godly advice that will encourage couples to ask the most important question: does our behavior edify God? The Purpose and Power of Love and Marriage will leave you satisfied and skillfully equipped to embrace and savor all the flavors that marriage and a lifetime commitment have to offer. This is one recipe that you will definitely want to share.
To order your copy, visit www.bfmmm.com or visit a bookstore near you.
Looking at the authority of the kingdom citizen in relationships. And I want to focus today on this topic. Write this down. Kingdom citizenship laws of love and marriage. The kingdom citizenship laws of love and marriage. I want to focus today for a few minutes on the subject of understanding the authority of love in relationships like marriage. Whether you are single or married or divorced, what you're about to learn is important to you. Because I am convinced that love is the most misunderstood concept on earth. And I want you to take notes today for the sake of yourself, but also for your children and your grandchildren. In our last session, which you probably have, or if you didn't get it, please get the CD, I ended talking about the fact that marriage is the most important decision every human would make in their life, next to their decision to follow Christ. Marriage is a decision that's more important than buying a house. It's more important than buying your first car. It's important for you to understand marriage, because you can buy an expensive house and have a horrible marriage. A lot of people have built beautiful houses but can't live in them because they spent more money on the house than they did on their relationship. Some people buy a brand new car but they can't drive together to work anymore because they don't speak to each other, which means your car is not helping you. It's interesting to me that most people's cars last longer than their marriages. And the reason why that is because when you go to get a license for your car, the government would force you to take a test, study a book, and go on driving lessons. And they will make sure that you are qualified to drive on their streets. So to get a license to drive a car can take months. But if you go to that same government to get a marriage license, they'll give it to you in 20 seconds. Once you qualify, they give you the license. Which means that they are more concerned about your car on their streets than they are about your life in their community. None of us goes on driving lessons for our marriages. We don't have a requirement by the government to read books to get married. So we know how to drive, but we don't know how to live with someone. And this is why it's tough for most people. Many of you in this room and the thousands watching us around the world, you are victims of a broken heart. Some of you have tried marriage, and you're at the point now where you're thinking, I ain't gonna try this no more. But it's amazing, when you get a car that's wrecked, you still buy another one. Somehow, you don't mind getting another car because you know how to drive. But you ain't sure you want to get another mate because you ain't sure if you know how to drive that situation. And the difference between the two is knowledge. Write this down. Choosing a life's partner for marriage must not be taken without careful and prayerful consideration. You can't just jump into it. Why? Because nothing in Scripture and nowhere in the Bible does God command us to be married. You don't have to be married to be happy. Marriage is a choice that you can make. It's not a requirement by God. We also mentioned in our last session that God never chooses your mate. And I'm so glad. Because God is too smart to choose your mate for you. God knows that if you had him choose your mate and it didn't work out, you could blame him. So God gives you the complete responsibility to choose a mate. But he does help you. He gives you a brain with 5 billion cells. He gives you the Holy Spirit to guide you. He gives you his word to regulate your decisions. He gave you pastors to give you good counsel. He gave you parents to give you sense. And he gave you his own anointing to discern spirits. And yet, with all of that equipment, some of us ignore it and we still make our own decisions. I want to say this then, that love is not the foundation for marriage. This statement will cause problems. I know it will. Because we normally get married to someone because we say we are in love. Can I suggest to you, please, after being married for 32 years myself, and a very, very happy marriage, not a bad day for 32 years, can I say to you that love does not make marriage work? Don't be fooled by that, whether it's a feeling that you say you have for someone, or an endearment to someone, if someone tells you good things. Don't get married because you love someone. I love aircrafts, but I can't fly them. You can love something and not know how to do it. So it isn't love that's the problem, it's knowledge to function in that. Let's talk a little bit about love in this session. Love does not keep marriage together. And I believe every divorced person here will agree with that statement. If you are divorced today, that means you were once in love with the person. So you didn't lack love. There were some other things that came up in the relationship that were stronger and more powerful than the love. Whether it was infidelity, unfaithfulness, whether it was abuse, physical abuse, or emotional abuse, or mental abuse, or whether it is neglect or irresponsibility in finances, something came up that became more powerful than the love you had for the person. Which means that love can't save you. It's tough, isn't it? Write this down, please. Successful marriage is a result of the application of knowledge, not the exchange of love. You can be in love, young man, all you want. It doesn't make the woman the right woman. You can express your passion to this man all you want, but that love you have for that man won't make him the right man for you. And we need to get this fast, because you see, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 7, it says, wisdom is supreme, so get wisdom. And in all you're getting, don't get love. Get what? Understanding. You want to understand what it is to be a woman, what it is to be a man, how to live with a human. You want to understand the idiosyncrasies of a female and the uniqueness of a male. You want to understand communication skills. You want to understand how to manage emotions and how to handle anger. You want to understand the dynamics of disagreements. You want to understand how to handle unfaithfulness, broken trust. You want to understand, because if you don't understand those things, you're going to dump that marriage. Many marriages today could have been saved. I'm sure of it. But the individuals didn't have the equipment, the knowledge to use to fix the situation. No marriage is irreparable, believe me. But most people either don't know, or they're just so tired, try it, they quit. And believe me, problems can make you tired. And this is why it's important for you to get understanding. I like what it says in the book of Hosea, chapter 4, one of my favorite verses in the Bible. It says, my people are destroyed for what? A lack of knowledge. Now, here's the part you always miss. It says, because you have what? Rejected knowledge, I will also reject you, says the Lord. God is saying that ignorance is a choice. Here's what's important here about this verse. You cannot reject something that was not available. I know, hey, I'm human too. I know you sit there and get tired of me saying, go buy this book. And you sit there and you got hell at home, but walk past the bookstore. Do you know that all your problems that you're facing now are probably solved in a book in your house you haven't read? We reject knowledge. Have you ever sat in a session like this and you hear this kind of teaching and your first thought is, boy, he should have been here. Ooh, they should have been here to hear this. What you're saying is they missed it. They rejected opportunity to get knowledge. And God says, because you reject knowledge, I also got to reject you, because I can't help you with what you don't know. And then he said something very important. He says, and you cannot be a priest before me. You see that there? The word priest means representative. God says, I don't want you to represent me if you are stupid. I don't want you to go to tell people you know me and you dumb. Stop saying praise the Lord and you can't handle your life. You haven't gotten the material to represent me, and they're telling everybody you know me. He said, don't tell anybody about me, please, because you are messing up my reputation. And here's the worst part. It ends with this. And I must also reject your children. What God is saying is, write this down. Ignorance is generational. What you don't know is transferred to your kids. So if you can't stay married and get it right, you got to be careful, because your kids may also be in danger of having the same problem that you have. Can you always remember this? Learn for your unborn children. Read a book for your unborn children. Go to a seminar for your unborn children, because that's what it's about. The less you know, the less they can learn. The more you learn, the more you can teach them. Because when you have information, you can transfer it to your children. God says you need to get understanding and knowledge. Now, I want you to write this statement down. The most misunderstood elements of relationship is love. The most misunderstood element and ignorance that we have is love. We don't know about love. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak as a servant of the Lord today with a heavy heart, because we are struggling. Many of us are tired trying to trust people. And it's because we are unrealistic. We are ignorant about what love is. Let's quickly review what we talked about in the last session. There are 4 types of love in the Bible. One is called phileo, which means brotherly love. The second is called eros, which is erotic love or fleshly love or sexual love. And the third one is stergo, and this is friendship love between 2 friends. And then there's the number 4, and that is agape. That is the divine kind of love that God gives you. That's the kind of love that is not normal. It's a very important kind of love. As a matter of fact, that's the kind of love that forgives a person who commits adultery on you. You cannot get back with a person who breaks trust with you with phileo. You can never make up with someone who breaks trust with you with eros. If your spouse committed adultery on you, you don't want to sleep with them anymore sexually. So the eros is even gone. You're afraid you'll probably get AIDS. Or you can't even imagine what they were with the other person. And so your memory and your imagination does tricks on you, and you can't even imagine sleeping in the bed with them anymore. Eros can't help you. The only way to get back after that brokenness, you got to go down to number 4. Agape. You got to get to the point where you have to do what God did. Even while we were yet sinners, he died for us. Now that's tough love. That's love that ignores all the rebellion. It ignores all of the cursing of God. God says, I still love you. And that agape is in the believer. It's not in the world. But because we don't understand it, it's tough to do it. Make a note of this, please. Only agape makes permanent relationships possible. Only agape. Every other relationship will be temporary. So you cannot really experience God's promise of marriage, which is permanent until death do you part, without God's material, which is agape. Everything else will fail you. Let me put it another way, please. Write this down. I'm giving you some good stuff here today. Write this down. Love is not emotions. And this is a very dangerous thing, because emotions are actually chemicals. Did you know that? When you feel for someone, that's an emotional chemical reaction. And the problem with chemicals is they change every 5 seconds in your body. The chemicals are never stable. In other words, when your eyes look at someone, your eyes interpret certain things, and you have a pleasant experience when you look at that person's face, or their lips, or their hips, or their breasts, or that man's six-pack. And your eyes have a sensation, and it registers to your brain, and you go, Now, the adrenaline then kicks in, and your body begins to produce adrenaline, or these adrenaline enzymes, and you become excited. Now, the excitement you feel is adrenaline. It's not love. And you think, I'm excited about this person. No, you are adrenaline about this person. And we interpret that feeling as love. No, that's a chemical reaction. And if you fall in love on adrenaline, excitement, which some people call infatuation, The problem is we're going to have you look at someone else again, a different person, and get the same experience. And then a third one, and then a fourth one. What you going to do with the first one you looked at? And that's why people commit adultery. That's why folks who are engaged to be married still break that engagement and go with someone else, because they confuse adrenaline with love. Love is not an emotion. Secondly, love is a choice. You have to choose love, and you must choose to love. Why? Because love is the response to understanding the value of another thing. When you value something, you put a certain amount of love on it or endearment on it. For example, if you bought a brand new car, 2012, and it costs 112,000 US dollars, I think you would want to clean that a few times. In other words, the more valuable the thing is to you, the more you want to treat it nicely. If you bought yourself a watch for $50,000, you would probably want to keep that watch in a different place than you keep the one you have now. Because the more value you put on something, the more you feel endeared to take care of it. So love is really a response to understanding value. That's why God loves you. God looks at you and he sees himself. The Bible says you are made in God's image. So when God sees you, he don't see what you think. He sees himself, and God loves himself so much, he refused to let himself go to hell. There was a value he put on you. By the way, value is measured by what you're willing to spend for something. Write that down, please. Can I say it again? Value is what? Measured by what you are willing to spend for something. In other words, when you pay for something, that's the value you gave it. So the more you pay for something, the higher the value placed on it. So here's the question. What did God pay to get you? He paid his own image on the cross, which means that God placed himself value on you. You are worth God. That's how you measure value. And so if someone really, really claims that they love you, they have a response to understanding your value, that is measured by what they are willing to give up for you. God loved you so much, he gave up himself. Can you meet someone who can do that? Someone who can give up all the men just for you, brother. This woman gave up all the men. All the men want her, but she decided, choice, that she can give herself to you only until she dies. Man, that's value. That's love. It's a choice. Because the men who still want her didn't leave the planet. That's important. They don't go away. And when she goes to work by herself, they will wink at her still. But she got to remember, I made a choice. This woman you claim you love, what did you cancel for her? Did you cancel your own mother for her? You have to. If your wife got to compete with your mother, then your wife is not the most valuable person on earth to you. And she feels that. She want to talk to you, and your mother call you on the phone to see you. You got a choice. And my advice is, go with your wife. Tell your mama, ask my wife for permission to see me. Just like that. You know why? The Bible never says that you're supposed to stay with your mother. It says leave your mother and father and cleave to your wife. You were born to leave your mother. I was born to live. You know, before I got married, it was clear. I sat with my mom and dad, and even my sisters who were here today. I told them, look, you know, I'm getting married. And it's amazing, you know, when you choose to marry somebody, your family don't always like them. But guess what? That's your choice, okay? Remember that. That's your choice. You make that choice. And I made it very clear. I said, now look, my getting married to this person doesn't bring two families together. It creates a third family. I'm going to say it again because you missed this. It's very important. In the Bahamas, this is what's destroying us right now. We keep thinking that two people bring two families together. That is not right. Because it invites interference. And some of you are divorced today because of in-laws who became outlaws. Come on, clap. You know it's true. Be nice. Clap. Yeah, they will get involved in your business. So you got to remember, look, when you get married, this ain't no two families coming together. This is the creation of a third family that is completely separate. And if you want to enter that family, you need permission. No one should just drop in on you if you are married, including your mother or your father. You don't just drop in. This is a private environment. You need permission to come in here. Call me before you come, because I mightn't want you to come. This is destroying marriages. I've seen people who drop in on people, walk right in the house. How you doing? Walk in the kitchen, open the pot. In your kitchen, fight. Oh, fight time now. No, that's a private environment. Protect your sanctity of your home. There's some mothers who need Jesus. Stay out of your children's business. I ain't gonna touch this no more. I see them knives coming out, okay? Write this down quick. Love is a force generated by a decision. Love has no feelings, you know. Wow. If God responded to you the way he felt about what you did to him, you wouldn't be redeemed today. Now this is important.
Thank you for joining us today on Living Effectively. For copies of this program, the complete teaching series, books, CDs, DVDs, magazines, and other resource materials by Dr. Myles Munroe, or information on seminars, conferences, workshops, and itinerary travels to your area, visit our website at milesmunroeinternational.com or bfmmm.com. Email us at info@mmi.com. And remember, our mission is to help you live effectively. In a world of globalization, economic uncertainty, terrorism, culture clash, family disintegration, corporate distrust, youth disillusionment, political confusion, and religious corruption, the wisdom to navigate successfully through life is necessary. Welcome to Living Effectively. Living Effectively, a program designed to provide wisdom, insight, information, and inspiration to effectively face the challenges of the 21st century world. Living Effectively.
In The Purpose and Power of Love and Marriage, Dr. Munroe's previously separate books in the Understanding Love series are combined in a time-tested recipe for success in marriage. Dr. Munroe sets the table for a 3-course gourmet meal experience that his readers shall not soon forget. He starts by whetting our appetites with Marriage, Still a Good Idea, then insightfully serves up his main course, Secrets of the Heart. He tops that all off with a perfectly rich dessert entitled For a Lifetime. Dr. Munroe boldly addresses the often controversial issues of submission and appropriate sexual behavior in marriage. He gives constructive, godly advice that will encourage couples to ask the most important question: does our behavior edify God? The purpose and power of love and marriage will leave you satisfied and skillfully equipped to embrace and savor all the flavors that marriage and a lifetime commitment have to offer. This is one recipe that you will definitely want to share.
To order your copy, visit www.bfmmm.com or visit a bookstore near you.
The Bible never says that you're supposed to stay with your mother. It says leave your mother and father and cleave to your wife. You were born to leave your mother. I was born to leave. Before I got married, it was clear. I sat with my mom and dad, and even my sisters who were here today. I told them, look, I'm getting married. And it's amazing, when you choose to marry somebody, your family don't always like them. But guess what? That's your choice, okay? Remember that. That's your choice. You make that choice. And I made it very clear. I said, now look, my getting married to this person doesn't bring two families together. It creates a third family. I'm going to say it again because you missed this. It's very important. In the Bahamas, this is what's destroying us right now. We keep thinking that two people bring two families together. That is not right. Because it invites interference. And some of you are divorced today because of in-laws who became outlaws. Come on, clap. You know it's true. Be nice. Clap. Yeah, they will get involved in your business. So you got to remember, look, when you get married, this ain't no two families coming together. This is the creation of a third family that is completely separate. And if you want to enter that family, you need permission. No one should just drop in on you if you are married, including your mother or your father. You don't just drop in. This is a private environment. You need permission to come in here. Call me before you come, because I mightn't want you to come. This is destroying marriages. I've seen people who drop in on people, walk right in the house, how you doing? Walk in the kitchen, open the pot. In your kitchen, fight. Oh, fight time now. No, that's a private environment. Protect your sanctity of your home. There's some mothers who need Jesus. Stay out of your children's business. I ain't gonna touch this no more. I see them knives coming out, okay? Write this down quick. Love is a force generated by a decision. Love has no feelings, Wow. If God responded to you the way he felt about what you did to him, you wouldn't be redeemed today. Now this is important because, see, true love has no feelings. It's a choice. If you wait on feelings, remember now, feelings are chemical. And chemicals change every 5 seconds. So if I love you because I feel like I love you, you might lose your love in 5 minutes. You ever heard this? We fell out of love. We don't love each other anymore. What that means is the chemicals changed. The way I used to feel when I look at you, you don't look that way no more, so I don't get the feeling no more. You bigger, fatter, heavier, you change on me. After 5 children, you don't look the same. Some women are under so much pressure to try and keep their husband's eyes on them that the stress is causing the woman to get cancer. Just the stress. Because that man doesn't know what love is. He starts saying things like, why don't you look like Cheryl? You put on too much weight, you know, look at this picture 10 years ago. That ain't you, see? And they start putting pressure on you. That man need beaten by me. Bring him to me, I will whoop him. Because he forgot that his stomach is now bigger than his chest, and his head receded, and his breath smelled worse. Sometimes we forget that we change too. Say amen anyhow. Praise the Lord. Love is a choice. You choose to love. Make a note of this, please. Very important. Love is an act of the will. That should be love. Love is what? An act of the will. Say it with me. Love is an act of the will. I beg you to please write that down. Because we keep thinking that love is some emotional concoction deep in the soul. Love is an act of the will. You can decide to love your enemy. If you don't believe me, ask Jesus. He said, love your enemy, he says. And he made it a command. You obey a man command out of a will. Love those who hate you, he says. Love those who despitefully use you. Love those who persecute you. How can you do that? It has to be a decision. And that's the kind of love you need for marriage. Because the person you marry will be an enemy twice a week. Maybe twice a day. People will do things in your life to hurt your expectations. But you got to decide, I still love you. If Jesus said to love your enemies, then the person you couldn't get along with, you decided not to love them. Write this down. Love is a debt you owe. Boy, that's tough. Let me read where that came from, all right? Because love is really a law. Laws have no feelings. What did I say? Laws have no feeling. Love is a law. Sometimes you feel like running the red light because you're late. But the law says stop. Your feelings got nothing to do with this law. Do you know that if you love your children, you will chasten them? Sometimes you feel for your son so you don't whip him. The Bible says he that doesn't chasten his son hates him. You can't get your feelings in the middle of discipline. If you love the person and they did wrong, you discipline them. It has to be a will. I love you so much, I feel like not spanking you, but I'm going to whoop you. Why? Because I love you so much, I don't want you to go this way. This is the wrong way to go. It's love. Look at them. That's your dream, eh? We dream that that's what we're going to be like. But let me wake you up real quick. John chapter 13, verse 34. Everybody read together. Read. A new commandment I give to you. Love one another as I have loved you, so that you must love one another. By this will all men know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. Look at Romans 13, verse 8. I want you to read this out loud together. Romans 13, verse 8. It says what? Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. For he who loves his fellow man has fulfilled the law of God. It's a debt. I owe you to love you. Most of the time when you owe people, you don't feel like paying them. You don't feel like paying them. Talk to me. When that light bill comes, you don't feel like paying the light bill. When it's time to pay the mortgage, you don't feel like paying the mortgage. You don't feel debt. But you choose, based on your integrity, to pay the bill. That's why you love people. You're obligated. Try and take feelings out of your marriage, please. I know this sounds crazy. It's good to feel good, you know, but just monitor that. Don't mix it up with love, because it doesn't work. Let me show you how deep this is. Look at John 13:34. Read. A new commandment I give unto you. What he says? Love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. John 15:12. Read. My commandment is this: love each other as I have loved you. It keeps repeating it. It's a law. It's a law. I command it. You don't feel like this. Verse 13, greater love had no man than this, than a man laid on his life for his friends. Oh man, listen to the words. John 15:17, read. This is my command, that you love one another. John 14:15, he says, if you love me, you'll obey what I command you, and that is to love one another. He said, if you love me, you will love people who hate you. You will do good to those who abuse you, who despitefully use you. You will still decide, I love you. Love. Let's talk about, where does love come from? I'm talking about real love now, not agape. I mean, not a stergo and phileo and an eros. Eros from the word erotic, which is all that sexual pornography stuff. That's erotic. That's eros. That's flesh love. Don't get mixed up with that. Don't ever consider sex love. They are never the same. If someone tells you they love you, and therefore you shall let them sleep with you and have sex, that person does not love you. You can't equate that with love. Matter of fact, they call sex in this society making love. Making it. Making it. That means it doesn't exist. We got to make it. Let's make love. What do you mean make love? That means you don't got it? That's exactly what they mean. And they make it for 45 seconds. Over. And then they don't want to talk to you anymore for weeks. It's not love. Boy, you're all quiet during this series. I don't know what's going on. Make a note of this. Galatians 5. It says the entire law is summed up in a single command. Love your neighbor as yourself. Galatians 5:22. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is what? Is love. Love is not a gift. It is a fruit of the Spirit. There's no gift of love in the Bible. Either it is in you by God's grace, or you ain't got it. Now, let me say something very interesting here. If you are born again, that means you have the Holy Spirit. Is that right? Okay. That means you get the love of God. Then why you got a divorce? Let me explain why. Because having the Holy Spirit is not equal to having knowledge. Let me give it another, let me try something. Thank you very much. Someone understood me over there. Okay. Let me give you an example. You can have a complete tool set and can't fix your car. You understand? You bought a brand new tool set from Walmart. I mean, ain't open yet. And you have it for weeks. And your car break down and you can't use nothing in there. Even though you got it. Having the love of God is not the same as having the knowledge to fix stuff. That's why you need this teaching. You need to know, how do I use this equipment? Everybody in this room, everyone in this room who got a divorce, everyone, and those watching me by television, everyone who got a divorce still loved the person during the time when they were getting the divorce. They still loved them. Because you just can't dump the tool chest. The problem was they couldn't live together, that's all. Because there was so much ignorance, there was so much misunderstanding of how to use the tool. It makes me weep. People People would abuse or hurt someone, and then they'd say, but I love you. I don't know why I did that. And what they're saying is, I still got the agape. I'm still full of the Holy Spirit, but I didn't know how to use the tools. That's why you need knowledge. Don't get married on love. Where does it come from? Look at 1 John chapter 7. Chapter 4, verse 7, sorry. It says, read it together. Dear friends, let us what? Love one another, for love comes from God. That's number one. That word love there is agape, agape. Read on. Everyone who loves, agape, has been born from God, and they know God. Whoever does not love, agape, does not know God, because God is agape. He doesn't have it. That's why the Bible says something else about love. I love it. Read this out loud. It says, whoever does not love does not what? Even know God. He's talking about agape. Because God is love. Again, 1 John 4, read. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in him. This is the real love. It comes from God. First of all, you meet someone and they don't know God, but they look good. They smell good. They dress nice. They got a good job. They got powerful access to money. They got all the nice cars and the rides and the house. They got the house behind the gate. And they, oh, glory. Yeah. But they don't have God, it says. Now listen to me, friends. Even those who got God got trouble. Ain't no hope for you. Because someone tells you, I'm saved, that ain't no qualification to marry them. All they tell you is, I got a tool set. Don't know how to use a Christ thing in it, but I got a tool set. That's what I mean. I'm saved means I got a tool set. I got the stuff, don't know how to use it. Now, don't get me wrong now. If you can take a chance with someone with a tool set. For heaven's sake, don't take a guy who ain't got nothing, just walking around cool. No God. The verse says what? God is love. Watch this. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God lives in him. That means this person got to be intimately covered by God. And even that's not enough now. It's not enough. But at least they got the raw material to work with. Let me explain why it's not enough. Don't they look cozy? Okay, write this down. Because love is this. Here's what love is. Write it down. Everyone write it down. Love is a decision to commit to meet another person's needs for the rest of their lives without expectation. And that's a high order. That's love. What is love? Love is a decision to commit to meet the needs of another person for life without expectation. The whole thing is love. That's agape. Let me tell you something. If someone falls into phileo with you, that's friendship love. That means that's mutual agreement. You treat me nice, I treat you nice. You stop treating me right, I stop coming with you. So that's not agape. I expect you to behave yourself, then I'll be with you. That's phileo. Eros says, you give me some, I give you some. I give you money, you give me sex. No money, no sex. So we got this, that's not, you got expectations there, you see. So that's not love. Then you got sterego. Sterego is, we are friends as long as you don't hurt me. So there's expectation. But agape is this strange kind of love. It has no expectation. Write this down. Love is therefore caring for a person. Now, caring is defined as anticipating a person's needs before they demand them and meeting them right now. Let me say it again. Caring is to anticipate a need and meet it right now. When you care about someone, You study what they need tomorrow and give it to them today. This is too deep. Let me try it again. When you care, to care means you anticipate a need that may come into need next week and you meet it this week. In other words, caring means I outthink you. Oh, this is too much. The word care then means that I don't even let you ask for anything. That's caring. If someone cares for you, they spend all their lives figuring out what you need next and give it to you now. Boy, would it be nice to be married to someone like that? People say they care for you. Check, see what they anticipated you needed, and see if you got it. The Bible says, cast all your cares upon the Lord. Why? For he careth for you. The word careth, there's a Hebrew word. It means to anticipate a need and meet it. It says, God anticipated your need and met it before you even asked. You know, when God said, when you pray to him, watch God now. He said, pray to me for what you need. He said, pray. He said, now when you pray, remember, while you are speaking, I will say, here I am. And while you are even yet speaking, I'll say, here it is. In other words, even before you finish the sentence. Let me ask you a question. Did God die for you after you sinned? No, because that's not caring. Oh. When God created you, he anticipated the possibility that you might fall. So the Bible says Jesus Christ was slain before the foundation of the world, just in case you fell. Give God a hand for caring. You know, the kingdom standard for marriage is interesting. The kingdom says, if I propose to you to marry you as a woman, it says, I will pledge you my troth, we call it. So we call it engagement today. So I say, I want to marry you. Okay. That means I decided to commit to meet your needs for the rest of your life and expect nothing from you. And I am going to care for you for the rest of your life. Now, okay, so I say to you, I want to marry you. That means, marry means I want to commit to meet all your needs for the rest of your life. And I expect nothing from you in return. I care for you. So I go away and I buy a house before we got married. I make sure it has refrigerator and washing machine, a dryer, iron, electric stove. I even make sure it has a maid. Oh, I'm getting deep now. And there's a car in the garage with your name on the license plate. We ain't married yet, you know. And I got a closet big as the house because I know you. I got a shoe rack that can handle 300. In other words, I anticipate. The Bible calls it a dowry. A dowry is caring. You go off and prepare a place, and then you come back and receive them unto yourself. Here you are, you won't get married, you ain't got no money. You broke, barely hanging on to a job selling peanuts, and you want to marry a person, and you living with your mother. And you tell them, I want to care for you. Leave them in their mother's house. You ain't ready to care yet. Boy, again, let me back off that. See? People talk about they love you. Always remember what love is. What is love? Read it out loud. What is love? Come on, out loud. Read it out loud. I want you to get it in your brain. What is love? The decision to commit and meet my needs for the rest of my life and expect nothing. That's love. So the next time some guy or woman says to you, I love you, ask them, so that means you are going to meet my needs for the rest of my life and expect nothing from me? that relationship over. But that's what they are asking for. Christ didn't just save us, he keeps us. He supplies all of our needs according to his. You got to have something if you're going to take him out of the house. You got to have something, brother. You got to have something to care. Some people are better off just staying single a little longer. Because the person you're going with, you too expensive. Clap, 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 clap. They don't understand. The level of your demand is so high, you're going to get frustrated the first week. And I know all you women know what it is to marry a stingy man. Oh, Lord, to marry a stingy man. He want to know where every penny gone. You got to beg to buy a pair of shoes for 3 weeks. I think I better quit my dog. But that's what love is. I told you we don't understand love. Love is a high order. So you take notes good and you have your conversations over coffee. If they want to take you for ice cream, take your notebook. Say, yeah, let's talk about ice cream and let's talk about this. You interested in me? Let me find out if you understand what we're getting into here. Because I don't want you, I got a good life right now. I mean, a little lonely, but I got a good life right now. So I don't want you to mess up my loneliness. You going to exchange your singleness for frustration? Baby. No, baby. I'm talking about the men too, Some men doing fine. Then they marry a woman who's a parasite. She don't bring nothing to the relationship. Suck the lifeblood out of this guy. He lose everything. Should I stop now, Doc? All right, let me finish this. Write this down. Love is the manifestation of inherent nature of God.
Thank you for joining us today on Living Effectively. For copies of this program, the complete teaching series, books, CDs, DVDs, magazines, and other resource materials by Dr. Myles Munroe, or information on seminars, conferences, workshops, and itinerary travels to your area, visit our website at milesmunroeinternational.com or bfmmm.com. Email us at info@mmi.com. And remember, our mission is to help you live effectively.